This live stream is presented to you by MaxspeedTV. All live streaming content that is presented in this telecast is owned by MaxspeedTV, Rudy Cummings, and the entire crew of MSTV. This may not be rebroadcasted, retransmitted, and retelevised without written consent. Please enjoy today's broadcast. We welcome you here live for tonight's MaxspeedTV broadcasted event here for the iSCAR Tolsma Designs Modified Tour at Stafford for round number 1 out of 6. Boy, we're getting set to go 95 laps here at the famed Stafford Motor Speedway. Glad you could join us in. My name is Zico Reyes.
I'm Dewey Schramm. What's going on, guys? Thanks for joining the broadcast.
Up and Stafford Motor Speedway. It's a very, very flat track. I'm expecting a lot of contact for tonight's race. We'll take a look at where everybody is standing on the board, and as you see them pop up on the top bar of your screen. But Stafford Motor Speedway, all the track facts going to be listed on the bottom left. It's half mile in length, 7.5 to 9 degrees of banking. Location is in Stafford Springs, obviously in the United States of America. I think it's a northeast track. I know
that would be in Connecticut.
That's right. Don't you live in Connecticut, or no? You live in Massachusetts.
I live in Massachusetts. Yeah, Stafford's in northeast Connecticut. It's about 30 miles or so from fellow short track Thompson Motor Speedway, and about 80 or so miles from Boston. So pretty much right in the center of southern New England. And it's hosted its share of K&N East Series races, or ARCA Menards East now. Noah Gragson won the most recent of those back in 2016. It's hosted quite a few wheel and modified tour races as well. It's run there every year since the mid-'80s. Craig Lutz, the most recent winner last year. So Stafford's had quite the rich modified history, and on the virtual side, we're looking to add to that tonight.
That's right, and you talked about how close Stafford and Thompson are with each other. We're going to go to Thompson later in the schedule as well, so that should be for an exciting race as well. But yeah, most of the Tour Mod races are up in the northeast. Of course, Stafford being one of them, Thompson being another. An unscanned track called Riverside up in Long Island, New York. That's another track. So that's another track.
Riverhead. Yeah, Riverhead's a fun little place, right near the end of Long Island. You got to imagine if you live on the shore of Connecticut, you got to drive all the way up to New York City and back down Long Island instead of just walking across the Long Island Sound. So not the most of accessible tracks. Of course, Seekonk up in Massachusetts near Providence, that's another unscanned track the modifieds go to quite a bit. So hopefully at some point in the future, iRacing can add those two onto the service, because of course, as a Massachusetts resident myself, the only real short track we've got would be pretty neat to be in there. But, you know, Stafford's pretty accessible too. I've been there before, so I'm ready.
I'm ready too. Still a minute and 30 remaining in practice. We'll go over the top 3 as of right now. Zoltan Herzeg in that number 96 is topping the charts. His scheme is now loading up because I just opened up Trading Paints. Aaron Mulrooney in that number 2. We've seen him top charts most of the time, but looks like he's going to be in his second as of right now. Max R. Brady making his return here tonight in iSCAR. That number 57 currently being displayed in that 3rd position. So some people who don't usually race iSCAR week to week, they're here tonight, and I'm excited to see on how this is all going to turn out for them, as one more person joined in the session. That would be Matthew Klein in that number 11. He's going to be our 15th entry in for tonight's race.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked because, you know, this is only the 4th overall race that iSCAR has had here at Stafford. We've had 2 in the Street Stock Series. Hunter O. Johnson, Brandon Wilkinson, the winners of those. And Season 1 of this very modified series, we only had 6 cars for that race. So I'm pretty excited that we have 15 now. So we have a lot more cars on the track for this incarnation of Stafford than our first go-around here. And of course, Jackson Menchu picked up his first iSCAR victory at that race. I'm sure a lot of people remember that. So we've got just a handful of seconds left here in practice, and it looks like that 96, as you said, will be pacing the field as we head in ourselves to qualifying.
Yeah, this track has a lot of memorable moments, of course. The time where Jackson Menchu, I think Aaron Mulrooney made contact coming into turn number 3. The big wreck down the backstretch involving, I think, Sean Dobson. It was, and of course, other events as well. That all-green race we had in the Street Stock Series. We'll scoot ourselves to the side as we transition into qualifying. We'll be right back right after the National Anthem plays. Rise out, remove your hats as we salute our nation's colors. We welcome you here back for the iSCAR Tolsma Designs Modified Tour, currently under qualifying conditions. As of right now, top 10 will be displayed. Actually, the whole field will be displayed on your left-hand side of the screen as these drivers take laps through the racetrack. Gotta then log in the fastest 2, put yourself to the top, and the person who has done that the best is Hunter Johnson at that number 12, who recently picked up a victory at Iowa. He's looking to go back-to-back here tonight.
Yeah, of course, won the pole for the Street Stock event at Iowa last night, led every single lap, and won the race. So he's swept everything he can sweep so far, and if he can get himself the pole here tonight, he'll be 4 for 4 in that front. But as the 96 of Zoltan Hertzeg will actually put himself up in the pole position, so never mind that little spiel. Here's Bianchini in the 48, taking his first of 2 laps as he'll come out of turn 4, and looks like he will place himself somewhere.
That's
that was out lap.
Yeah.
I hyped up the out lap. Oops.
Yeah, on board with Michael Bianchini. Bianchini is... Oh, he might have topped the wall there. Yeah, that lap won't count, unfortunately, but something that's really interesting about this modified, like get an onboard shot of it, we're gonna zoom out, obviously. This modified cockpit is something to, like, something to look
It's
at.
different.
Yeah, it's different. It's way, way different. I have no words for this modified cockpit.
6 now.
That's right.
He got his second lap in, thankfully. So Mulrooney looks to slot himself here in third, and only 1/1000th of a second between Max Brady and Liam Sheen. So those two put down just about identical lap times.
Yeah, that's right.
And the entire top 10, save for about 400ths, just half a second apart. So got a pretty competitive top 10, just like last night at Iowa. So we might have back-to-back pretty strong season debuts.
That's right. Of course, I was talking about the modified cockpit. Mirror in the top right. Of course, left side mirror in the left. But this is an open wheel car, and it doesn't drive anything like an Indy car or like an F3 or something like that. This car is loose. And what these modifieds usually have is a lot of right rear stagger. You're using more of the right rear than normal oval cars, so you'll see a lot of these cars break loose right up off the corner. So I'm interested to see on how these people will adapt to that, to this car, and also to these racing conditions, because this is a very flat track as well. So here we go, getting set for the grid and displayed on pole. That would be the number 96 of Zolt Herzeg on the top. Right alongside of him, that would be the number 12 of Hunter Johnson.
And speaking of Indy cars, if you want to see how those drive, you can catch the IndyCar iSCAR debut tomorrow night at Pocono.
That's right.
So I'm pretty excited for that. And row 2, we've got Aaron Mulrooney in the 2 and Max Brady to his outside in 4th.
Liam Sheen and Michael Bianchini going to round out this third row.
And in row 4, we've got the series sponsor, George Tolsma, the 25, and to his outside, the 169 of Frank DeAngelis.
Row number 5 going to be Scott Yost and Kevin White Jr., who's making his first ever iSCAR start.
And the rest of the field here, Joe Burgee in the 83 and Matthew Klein in the 11 will be row number 6.
Garrett Hess and Dominic Howe. Actually, Dominic, I think, wasn't in the session, so I think we have 16 drivers. Yes, we do, so that's exciting.
Yeah, Harry Grindle, who flipped over last night in Iowa, so trying to have a better run than that, and Justin Johnson in the 4 will round out our 16-car grid here for tonight.
Yeah, Dominic Howe, a late entry on in as we get set. 16 cars, 2 off of what we ran at the Street Stock Tour with 18 drivers, but getting set to go green here. Our race analysis is going to be shown on the bottom right of your screen. 47.5 miles going to be ran in total because this is a half-mile track, 95 laps in total. So this race should take about 30 minutes if this thing does go green all the way. So a relatively short race, but I'm expecting a lot of cautions here for this beginning first half.
I don't think we'll see as many cautions as we did last night at Iowa. That was just pure insanity. As the field size for tonight about half of what it was at Iowa. So I think we'll definitely have our fair share of cautions in contact, but I don't think we'll see anything like what we saw last night. So it'll probably be a typical modified short track racing, and personally speaking, I think modified is some of the best racing to watch, especially up at like New Hampshire. But,
that's right.
Yeah, definitely. If you ever get the chance to check out a modified race in New Hampshire, you will not regret it at all.
Yeah, that track produces a lot of great racing. I think that's one of the first times that NASCAR has put a restrictor plate on an engine. The first time was obviously at the modified at New Hampshire, which is very interesting. Fun fact.
Yeah, of course, the Cup Series ran restrictor plates once at New Hampshire after the passing of Kenny Irwin, and that was when Jeff Burton led every single lap of the race, and I believe that's the most recent time that's happened in the Cup Series. So New Hampshire's definitely been an experiment in multiple different ways for cars, but here we are at Stafford with modifieds, and the pace car is on pit road, and we are green here in Northeast Connecticut.
Green flag is out, 2x2 action as they head into 1. Hunter Johnson wants to pinch the 96 right into 1, but unfortunately it opens up to 2. Mulrooney to take advantage for that second spot. In the meantime, that 96, all you can do is just pull away, because once you're locked side by side, not really anywhere to go.
They got a little blinker around the middle of the pack. Hopefully that's a non-issue. But yeah, Hunter's still trying to work the bottom here with his former teammate. But Mulrooney making that high side work for now, and he might have a chance to clear him here coming out of turn 4.
Yeah, a lot of action toward the rear end of the pack. One car washing up to that second groove. That might have been George Tolsma, but in the meantime, this battle for second really pushing in as Hunter Johnson's going to sail into the corner, move that 12 into second place. Oh, man.
That was close.
Yeah, it looks like that's the number 58 of Dominic Howe. The 85 is Scott Yost, pulling to the bottom side as George Tolsma is just not going anywhere in that pink machine. He's now in the hands of that number 86 of Garrett Hess, sitting in 12th place. And all these schemes are very unfamiliar with both of us, so just a warning, we might... Uh-oh, we got to spin the back.
Hopefully that does not bring out a caution. That's Matthew Klein in the 11, and it looks like he will tow it and or disconnect, but yeah, 96 of Zoltan's got a bit of a lead now. He's gapped Hunter Johnson by, looks like about half a second or so, so he's definitely the best car of the field up to this point, but Hunter's side-by-side battle with Aaron certainly helped as well.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, flat short track, once you're side-by-side, all that momentum, but getting right up off the corner gets stalled, but since now everybody is just single file, that 12 could just focus in on nailing his marks, getting to the back side of that number 96, who got a bit loose off that corner though, but he's still pulling away from the 12. But we'll take a look through the field and see there's some battles going on throughout, and it looks like take a look at that number 85 of Scott Yost. It seems a bit loose, might be in the hands of that number 83 of Joe Berge for that 9th place.
Yeah, Berge, another one of those guys that had a good run going last night, but he got involved in a mid-race incident and ended up glitching and flipping and landing on like 3 different cars. So, like Harry, a flipper from last night trying to have a much better start to his season this time around. Max Brady started himself in 4th. Looks like he's dropped a few spots now to 6th. And actually to 7th is, looks like Kevin White Jr.'s gotten around him as well. So 57 going in the wrong direction here early on, but still quite a bit of time here to reverse that.
That's right, as the 00 of Kevin White Jr. wants to speak to the bottom side. It looks like that's the number 169 of Frank DeAngelis in that black machine, working himself off of the 4th corner. There's a pack of 3 right behind him, of course, that 00, but that number 57 of Maxspeed Brady, you mentioned him. He started all the way in 4th, but man, he is just not the handle of this car. As you see a bit of a sidewaysness, if that's even a word, from that 00.
It is now.
Yeah, it is now. Oh, man!
Oh, car on the wall right there. That's DeAngelis, and that's going to allow Kevin White and Max Brady to both get by him, so... Or Kevin did, but I think Frank might have be able to keep it going on the outside. So Frank limits the... or goes into damage control mode and only drops 1 spot, but... Man, Brady's got to figure out something fast. I mean, of course, there's still 80-some-odd laps to go, but, you know, if you end up too far back, you don't want to fall in danger of potentially going a lap down, because of course if we have a longer green flag run, lap traffic could play a due effect later on.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And for this 96, he doesn't want to encounter lap traffic. He has a solid, looks like nearly a second lead over that number 12 of Hunter Johnson, doing a nice job of maintaining the gap between himself and that 12. But I think that restart really played to that number 96 advantage. Of course, we mentioned that side-by-side battle with Mulrooney, who's now in 3rd place. He's currently trailing that number 12. We'll get an onboard shot of this number 2 as he works himself into 3. Not turning the wheel a lot. I think actually, he turned the wheel a lot on the apex of the corner, but that number 12, not really on the throttle, especially off the corner. I think it's just too loose for him to really nail that throttle and keep up that momentum. He's losing some time to that number 12.
Well, these top 4 cars have really pulled away. Liam Sheen about 2 seconds back of the leader. And you have to go another 5 seconds back here to Kevin White in the 00, who finds himself in 5th. So those top 4 are clearly the best on the track so far. And with this pack further back, this is probably going to lead to some potential cars being lapped down, probably in the next 10 or 15 laps, provided we stay green.
Yeah, that's right, and this is a huge line behind the 00 of Kevin White. Kevin, of course, making his first ever iSCAR start here tonight, working himself into 1. Now, Maxspeed Brady might want to go ahead and challenge for that top 5 spot, but, oh man, you see him
right there.
Yeah, too loose.
him and Mulrooney looks like both on the looser side of things. And it looks like Klein has disqualified, or not disqualified, disconnected himself after his lap 3 spin. It looks like Michael Bianchi also has left the session. So we're down to about 14 cars on track, which is still double what we had the first time around. So we've already seen just as much, if not more, action than we did our first time here. And Hunter really hasn't been able to close that much, but looks like he was a tad faster than the 96 Zoltan, so slowly but surely trying to chip away at that lead.
That's right. Last time by, he hit a .2, but Zoltan hit a .1 as that number 4, I was just looking back at him, he now is a lap, that's Justin Johnson. If there were to be a caution right now, he would easily get the lucky dog and put himself back on the lead lap. But in the meantime, that number 96 is Zoltan. That gap is slowly closing, but that 12 just has to nail his marks to close that gap. Right now, he's being a bit inconsistent doing it. Both of them are actually, as now that gap lengthens a bit, now to .6, which was about .4 earlier, a couple laps prior. So Hunter's coming, but very, very slowly.
Well, Hunter could put all of his focus now on catching the leader because he has pulled away from Aaron Mulrooney just a bit. Of course, those two were side by side in the early part of the race, which allowed the 96 to get the lead that he has. But now that Hunter's been able to distance himself from that 2 car, he can now put all of his focus on flagging down the leader, not a threat, but maybe letting his guard down for Aaron to try and pass.
Honestly, this is the first time Mulrooney has never been up front of a short track race. We usually call that number 2 a short track king, but of course with Hunter Johnson's absence, I think that's why the 2's been running up front. Of course, he won, I think, 3 of the 6 races last season in the Street Stock Series, and he also picked up the late model championship on the Sunday Series as well. But right now, he's struggling a lot. I think this is one of his very few times he's run in this kind of car. So the 2 just has to get adapted to his conditions, to these conditions. Maybe he'll start working himself toward this top 2. But you see right here, this 96 is Zoltan. He's coming up on some lap traffic, and that's the 58 of Dominic Howe. It's fairly slow.
Yeah, of course, Dominic from this area like myself, but hopefully he can try and improve his running order right now, this is pretty much one of his home tracks, along with Thompson, but currently sitting in 13th, so he'll be the free pass when a yellow, or if a yellow were to come out. And there he's in the wall, but yeah, Hunter is a former iSCAR winner here at Stafford. Of course, we've run 3 races here in the past. Hunter winning the first of those back in, I think, 2018. And he won 5 of the 6 street stock races that season. So that was part of an absolutely dominating season. So Hunter definitely does know his way around this track, but still not the best car on the track as of now.
Yeah, so it's been a while since he's really run up front. As you see, the 83 of Joe Berge wants to look to the bottom side of MaxsCAR Brady. Brady, man, this is not his usual self. I've run with this dude on the official side of things, and that 57 is just not getting the handle. But what he needs is, speaking of handling, the 83 of Berge. Nice save there off of turn number 2.
Yeah, and Berge was just at the 57's bumper. Of course, Brady started himself in 4th, and now he's down to 8th, so I think Brady is the biggest loser of this race so far, but at least for now he'll hold on to 8th, as Berge was right there, and I think he was going to try and get the pass before he wiggled out of turn number 4.
Look at all this lap traffic that Hunter Johnson and Zoltan is approaching here as they lap around the 25. And like 3-4 other people as well. Looks like Tolsma, of course, a lap down. Garrett Hess is a lap down here. Grindel's a lap down. Dominic Howe, who just got lapped earlier, is now trailing that number 70. So all these people who are getting lapped now, they're trying to fight for that lucky dog and get themselves in position. You see there the 12 moving around that number 25 of, looks like that's George Tolsma. I think he's the first one who's 1 lap down.
Yeah, and Garrett, this row of 4 right here, these guys are all 1 lap down, just as you said. So Garrett and Tolsma currently battling for that free pass position. It looks like Dominic's going to give Harry a bump here out at turn 2. And Dominic will try and make that pass into turn 3 and really send it into the corner and pushes Harry up the hill, and that'll be for position. So an aggressive but yet good pass there for the 58.
I think you could run it. You could run this race with 1 set. Of course, you're going to be very slow when the next restart will come around. That's if we get a caution.
Yellow flag is out.
There it is, on cue. We got a caution. Around goes the 169. Oh, that's Frank DeAngelis. But yeah,
6th place.
he has to get himself going before he gets lapped, and unfortunately, he is lapped.
Oh man, that was pretty on cue though. I mean, right as the wow, got up on 2 wheels and
That's the number 4 of Justin Johnson. Nowhere to go.
nothing he could do at all. Yeah, but. Yeah, the modifieds can do that. If you hit a wall just right, you can get them up on 2 wheels, of course. The most prominent example probably of that would be when Danny Bone flipped over in the Uno Battle of the Beach way back when, of course, Mike Stefanik had his famous interview in that race. Rest in peace to him, but looks like DeAngelis did just that, but manages to keep his car on 4 wheels, so I don't think Frank's out of this thing yet, but definitely an early setback.
Yep, and this will mark I think a third of the way through tonight's race. And I'm pretty sure everybody on the... Oh, looks like... Wow, very, very surprised. Zoltan and... Yeah.
Someone just stopped on the track up right before the pit road entrance.
I think he just missed pit road. I'm not really sure, but I'm really surprised to see some of these people who are on the lead lap stay out. I guess they're betting for track position rather than tires. This is a fairly long race, 95 laps, taking a lot of blistering to that tire. I don't think this is on the newer tire model either. Well, we'll have to see on how this 95 will shape up against these people who did hit pit road, like MaxsCAR Brady, Scott Yost, and all those others. I'm pretty sure they'll be the benefit coming to this long run, because that was a solid 34 laps, 35 laps. For that green flag run, so well, we'll have to see on how Zoltan and Hunter will shape up.
I think Tolsma may have been the free pass on that caution. I'm not 100% sure on
right.
who got it, but it looks like that it will go to that 25. So looks like we'll have 9 cars on the lead lap for this restart, and I think Garrett Hess will be the first car 1 lap down coming to the restart. So if another yellow were to come out, because of course cautions breed cautions, so it wouldn't be surprising at all if we see another one, Garrett would be the lucky dog in that case. So we're almost halfway through this race already. We've pretty much at a blazing pace up to this point, but we'll have to get our first restart of the night here as the pace car has its lights off.
And top 3 will be Zoltan Herzog, Hunter Johnson, Aaron Mulrooney. Going to be rounding out this top 3. Field's going to be in the hands of that number 96, Zoltan Herzog, who's led every single lap from the drop of the green. We're about to have another drop as we get set for the restart. The pace car is in, and there's a long pace. Turn 3 all the way to the start-finish line. I think Zoltan's going to wait for that green flag, and indeed he does so. Green flag is out. A lot of scrambling right behind, as I think that number 2 of Rooney did not go. Oh, Berkey hit the wall!
On the outside wall, and he almost climbed up on 2 wheels, but keeps it going. No caution, but Berkey's going to fall way back, and there goes Mulrooney around in turn number 3, and that will bring the caution up once again. And looks like somebody, I think it was an orange car, just tapped him and around he went.
Man.
Might have been Kevin White that got into him.
Yeah, I think, you see
There's
Berkey. Yeah, really riding the fence there. Might give him some underside damage, but I'm curious what happened to Mulrooney as he worked himself into 3 and 4. That did not work out for him. I think Kevin was on.
I think he drove it in.
No, actually, not really sure. I guess that was a racing deal.
That's what looks to be about 50-50. I think Aaron may have tried to arc the corner normally, but
yeah, Kevin was there
in that pod. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think Aaron definitely is going to take tires now that he has spawned himself out. So of course, spinning out, of course, will put more wear on those tires, and there he is. So that'll put Liam Sheen now up into 3rd place. Haven't really talked about him up to this point tonight, but man, that 96 has just been absolutely dominant so far.
That's right. Of course, as we mentioned, he has led all of 40, now 41 laps. The drop of the green, and looks like the 0-0 of Kevin White. Unfortunate for him, he will get a EOL for the cause of the wreck. He'll go to the back. Fortunate for him, he was having a nice run, and luckily he's still on the lead lap.
Yeah, he was 5th up in his first race here, but still got just over half of the race to try and make that ground up. But it looks like Harry Grindle was actually the free pass on that caution, not Garrett, so Harry doing a good job of getting himself in that spot, and not even 2 laps later, Harry's back on that lead lap. So we'll have to see if that 70 car can try and make his way back up to the front now that he's on the lead lap.
Alright, and under caution for the second time tonight, George Tolsma heading himself onto pit road. I think that's because he couldn't take tires, taking the lucky dog. You also see on pit road, I think that's the 169 of Frank DeAngelis. Might be taking some optional.
Now 8 laps down.
Yeah, Dominic's actually disconnected.
Yeah, DeAngelis now 2 laps down as well. I'm not sure what happened to him. Perhaps him climbing the wall gave him required repairs that he's still fixing up now. But fortunately for him, with that quick caution, it'll take him, I guess, longer for him to lose those laps. But Zoltan Hertzeg, Hunter Johnson, Liam Sheen, your top 3 here for restart number 2, as we'll have just over half the race remaining when the pace car momentarily goes down pit road.
A lot of people have yet to catch up. I think it's just that small field. Oh, there's the rest of the field.
They're chugging.
Yep, they're digging to get up to the field as the pace car is in. Green flag in the hands of that number 96. As Zoltan wants to wait to the start-finish line to hit the throttle. Back up and away, through the gears they go. Green flag is out, and the 96 gets a good restart over the 12.
Yeah, Liam Sheen keeping the bottom into 3rd place. Looks like he washes up right here, and that's going to allow Max Brady to try and do a crossover here into turn 3. So Brady now on the positive side for this race. He started in 4th, and now he's up to 3rd. So Max doing a good job of righting his ship and getting himself up into that podium spot. So we'll have to see if he can challenge Hunter and Zoltan for those top 2 spots now.
Not only that, that number 57 did take tires, looks like 10 laps ago, so that 57 has to be pushing the issue to get up to that number 12, and not only that 12, that 96 as well. And of course, Brady on fresher tires, you got to use them right now before the next caution comes out. Whoa. You see him get loose right up off the corner, probably using the apron to his advantage.
Yeah, he's trying, I guess, something new, but I don't know if he intended to go on the apron or not, but a nice save regardless. Here's a move down to the bottom. That's Mulrooney looking underneath Scott Yost for position number 5. So he is quickly getting himself right back up to that top 5, and we'll have to see if he can get himself up to 3rd where he was when he went around for this most recent caution. But man, that 96 already starting to pull away once again.
Yeah, Zoltan just knows these cars best, and you see there, Max Brady losing some time to Hunter Johnson as we have a pass here for this 4th position. Move Aaron to the 2nd spot as Liam Sheen will drop back 1.
Yeah, Scott Yost with those 2 guys as well, and Bergie right behind them after he just climbs the wall in turn number 1. So Bergie's still a solid 7th place run so far. So even with his little wall climbing escapade there, still a mid-pack run. And definitely some room for improvement with 45 to go.
Yep, we scroll on the battle back here as, Kevin White wanted to shove it into the corner and won, but Tolsma blocking that campaign, but now he gets the run off the corner, so move that 0-0 into, looks like he's gunning for this 8th spot. Tolsma stuck on that high side again, and Tolsma just can't get a run right up off the corner. Still side by side though.
Yeah, little bit of a wiggle by the 0-0, but no harm, no foul as he still makes the pass. And Tolsma did not get a good corner exit at all, and that's going to stack up a couple guys. And
whoa, got a car around
in the pit road entrance.
That's Bergie. Gets himself back going.
Place. And he's going to get going quickly because that leader's going to get to him really quick, but no caution for that. And
just got loose.
I guess he just lost it out at 2, and right there just looped it. Fortunately, he did not come back up the track with 6 or 7 cars coming right there. So unfortunately, he'll probably go a lap down shortly, but at least he was able to keep it off the racing surface and did not collect anybody else.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
Oh, we got a yellow flag, and I don't know who is around. Got to look around. Looks like it's the 70 of Harry Grindle. Still on the lead lap for that number 70, but unfortunately for that spin, it's going to halt him for the moment. He doesn't get lapped oops, I accidentally pulled up this. Let me go ahead and scoot that to the side, but got a replay of what happened to that number 70 of Grindle. And looks like, don't know if he had contact right up here.
Yeah, Harry, he definitely got some help. I think
Yeah.
that might have been DeAngelis.
That's right.
And I think that will give Garrett Hess, Grindle's teammate, a free pass. But yeah, it looks like DeAngelis just ran him right over, unfortunately. And
yeah, DeAngelis a lap car.
Yeah, he's two laps down. I'm not really sure why he's racing like it's for a position, because it's not. But it's unfortunate for Harry, but
Oh man,
so belonging if his teammate gets on the lead lap again.
yeah, I'm not really sure about that because Harry, I don't know if he jammed up on the throttle or what, because he came to a dead halt. He came to a dead halt right up off the corner. I wouldn't blame that all on Frank, because Harry just stopped right up off of 2, and you see Hess taking the wave around. I don't know if Harry was scared about Tolsma checking up, because he did get a bit loose. I think that's why Harry got ran over, and it's hard to stop in these modifieds because they're just so fast at the center of the corner.
Yeah, these modifieds are tanks when it comes to trying to break them, but in terms of damage, they are the complete opposite of tanks. A little bit of damage can really hurt these modified cars, and I guess for DeAngelis, that is case in point after he climbs the wall earlier. So he's still stuck 2 laps down, but I think we've now got 10 cars on the lead lap now, with Garrett rejoining the lead lap club.
Yep, and looks like hitting pit road. The number 12, Hunter Johnson, hits pit road from 2nd place. We'll have to start all the way back in 8th place. For Zoltan, though, he's still out on the racetrack, as well as Liam Sheen, who's now sitting in 4th. We'll pull up the panel right here on your screen. Zoltan, Aaron, Max, Liam, Scott, Kevin, Harry, round out all those people with old tires. Of course, the first person on new tires, Hunter Johnson. It's also a good break for that number 83 of Joe Berge. He spun earlier. Of course, with no caution. He was on the apron. So Joe could easily scoot himself back into contention.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Aaron can possibly do on this restart. Of course, he's got about 40 lap fresher tires than that 96 does, and of course we all know Aaron is one of the best short track racers here in iSCAR, and with those 40 lap fresher tires, I'm curious to see if he can try and make this outside work here on the restart, even though of course the leader has the advantage of going when he wants.
Cloud cover covers the racetrack, a bit gray here at Stafford, but it won't affect the racing. We're gonna go green here as the 96 will lead it to the green. Back up through the gears they go, and
Aaron spun him.
Yeah, Aaron is now putting the pressure on Zoltan. I think this is the first time Zoltan has gotten pressure from the restart. Man, what a corner by Mulrooney. We'll see if he can get a run in 3.
Yeah, it looks. I think Aaron might have spun the tires on the restart, but it didn't really affect him that much, as he was still able to scoot himself right down the bottom and get a car around. That's Yost, and he's gonna save it.
Nice save.
Everybody else misses it, and that could have been big. But Aaron's still right on that 96's bumper. He's trying, as Brady does not have a good corner, and he'll fall back a little bit.
Yeah, Hunter's up to 6th place. He's now looking for 5th as he goes under the 0-0. But in the meantime, this battle for the lead is heating up. First time. Oh, man! What a save by Brady.
Yeah, second great save in as many laps. As he's holding on for dear life right now, but still in 3rd place. But I would not be surprised if with him or his car driving like that right now, if Liam Sheen can try and make a move on him here shortly. But these two, Aaron's keeping up with Zoltan. It's really, as you said, the first real pressure he's gotten all race. So we have to see if Aaron can try and make a move, take over that lead spot.
Not only that, that number 2 of Mulrooney is on fresher tires. He got a great run off of 4, but will not peak to the low side. Has to make the move ASAP, or else I think a caution will come out. Here he goes to the low side. Mulrooney will go all the way to the apron, take that left side tires, maybe turn the car a bit more, but he does not get the run off the corner. Will drive it into 3 and get to the underside of that 96. And Mulrooney, the first time tonight, will move himself to the front.
Yeah, great pass there for Aaron into turn number 1, and those tires definitely making a difference. Of course, Zoltan has not pitted all race, as you've run well over half the race now, and Aaron has 40 lap fresher tires than that 96 does. So I guess they're starting to see that play into effect. And Hunter Johnson's now already up to 4th place as he pit on that most recent caution. So he has even fresher tires than Aaron does. So if Hunter can get himself past this 57 of Brady, I think Hunter may have a chance for both of those guys up front.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And Zoltan is not letting go of that number 2. Might have got a bit sideways off of that 4th corner, but Zoltan is still there with Mulrooney, and Brady is now getting some pressure from that number 12, Hunter Johnson. If this thing goes green all the way, I think it'll benefit that number 2, as you see a slow car there to the bottom. I think that's Frank DeAngelis, but it'll benefit that number 2 of Aaron Mulrooney more than it will Zoltan. Because, of course, stacking up double wide.
And, of course, if it stays green when you're, harder on the throttle and turning at full race speed, it, of course, wears the tires out more, and looks like Max will just let Hunter go there for 3rd. So the longer they stay green, the more wear that Zoltan's tires will get. So at some point, I would expect that Zoltan will probably have to pit for tires before this race is over. But if he doesn't, he'll probably end up losing some more track position, because Hunter's definitely on his way up towards the front.
Yeah, that's right. He had to pass Brady last lap, so it was a bit slower, but this time by, we'll see how fast Hunter is. Still faster than the leader, that number 2 of Mulrooney, but not far off. Mulrooney is running a strong pace as of right now over that number 12, so Zoltan's not letting go. He's still within grasp of that number 2. We still might have a battle here for this lead.
Yeah, I'm really surprised at how much he's still being able to run this well on these older tires. Of course, with all the wear that's on them now, with them being on, of course, since the drop of the green flag, I would have expected there to be a lot more fall off with him, but he's doing a really nice job of keeping himself composed and up there, and he might be trying the outside right here.
Yeah, might get a wider arc. Oh man, I think he got tight right up off the right into 1, and that lost him a bit of ground, but he'll shove it into the corner, get to the backside of Mulrooney really quickly. Man, he's not letting it go. Here he comes.
Yeah, he closed that gap as quickly as the gap opened up. That was really impressive, and Aaron left the bottom open right there, but looks like Zoltan cannot do anything with it yet. I think he'll drive it in really deep here into turn 3 as well, and it might give him the bumper.
Oh man, so close, right up off of 4. Zoltan is not letting go of that number 2, Mulrooney, and yeah, you can expect the bump and run. Of course, these cars have roll bars right in the front and back of their machines, and countering lap traffic might hinder the progress of that number 96. It's like it won't.
Yeah, Yost goes up high and lets them both go, so he will not be a factor here in this battle. But yeah, man, Zoltan's just staying right there, and again, with how old those tires are, the fact that he's staying up there and being that close to him still is really a testament to how good of a driver Zoltan is. As Hunter is closed on them both, he's less than 2 seconds back now with much fresher tires than both of them. So it's not going to be too long before this becomes a 3-horse race for that lead.
That's right, and Zoltan, I think he's losing time in 1 and 2, but he really shoves it. He shoves the car into 3 enough to close that gap between himself and Mulrooney. So Zoltan's better off in 3 and 4, but Mulrooney has 1 and 2 nailed down. And I know turns 1 and 2 is banked differently than turns 3 and 4. Dewey could fill me on this. I don't know what the banking is through the corners. I know it's 7.5 on one side, 9 on the other.
Yeah, 7.5 to 9. Turns 1 and 2 are banked 9 degrees, and turns 3 and 4, 7.5. I'm not sure what the banking is on the front and back stretch, but yeah, it looks like Aaron is better on the higher banked corner, and Zoltan's car, and this is really interesting, that older tires will work better on the corners that are less banked, which seems completely the opposite of what I would expect to be the case. But it's iRacing, things happen, but we've only got 17 laps to go. This race has just been flying by. So as great of a run as Zoltan has, time's actually running out for him to try and get that lead back.
Yeah, and he closed that gap up a lot there as he worked themselves through 3 and 4. Mulrooney is not... Oh my goodness. So that time he got a run through 1 and 2, but the gap is now opened up to, like, looks like car length and a half, but Zoltan shoves it into the corner, closed the gap yet again.
Yeah, he's just so much better in turns 3 and 4, but he needs to try and get turns 1 and 2 nailed down better because Aaron's able to pull out of the exit of turn 2 almost every lap. So as close as Zoltan keeps getting in turn 3, he keeps having to try to play catch up to get that gap back. If he can try and stay with him in turns 1 and 2, he'd be much better positioned to try and do a bump and run and maybe send it into the corner to try and make a pass.
Yeah, oh, you see there, I think Zoltan got really, really loose off into 1 and 2, and Aaron will get the pull away that time, and Zoltan will shove it into 3 and close the gap yet again. But we're coming up on a couple of lap cars. This might play an effect on how these leaders will stick around with them. We still have 14 laps left, and we get on board the number 2. He works himself into 3. It looks like some lap cars in 4, so I expect them to be caught up within, I guess, 5 or 7 laps from now, unless we get a caution.
I think Hunter may have used up his tires at this point because he looks like he's fallen off a bit. He really hasn't gained that much on these top 2 over the last 10 or so laps. I think he may have used up his stuff trying to make that gap up. But either way, he still has fresher tires than both of them. So it's not out of the question that Hunter could get there, but I think he may have used up the best of his tires to try and close the gap up to this point.
Yeah, I think that 96 just used up all his stuff. He's going to have to rely on these lap cars to hinder that progress of that number 2 of Mulrooney, who's now pulled himself a 0.6 second gap over that 96, but still got a long ways to go. 10 laps remaining, and those lap cars are right there, right in front of that number 2. And there's not just one, there's multiple. It looks like a line of 4. This is Garrett Hess, Harry Grindle, George Tolsma, and I think that's the 169 of Frank DeAngelis as well. So we'll see on how Mulrooney will track around these lap cars as we now hit the 90-go mark.
Yeah, and I don't think a yellow would help Zoltan either because, of course, old tires not good on restarts at all. So if a caution were to come out in these last 8 laps, I think Zoltan would quickly go in the wrong direction. So yeah, as you said, I think he's got to rely on a lap car, maybe holding up Aaron a little bit to try and get right back around him for the lead. But as of right now, that 2 car's got it made.
Yep, 8 laps to go. They're coming up on 7, and there's a span of lap cars. Garrett Hess, Harry Grindle, and Frank DeAngelis all in this one pack, and they're battling all for position as well as now Zoltan slips the corner in 1 and 2. We'll see on how Mulrooney will attack these lap cars and work himself around, but they're starting to bottle up there on the inside. I think Mulrooney will have to maybe get on the radio and tell them to move out of the way. Hopefully go to the high side, and here they go. Oh, man.
That's the break Zoltan needed. He's going to be able to close that gap a little bit, as Aaron had to get on the brake much earlier than he wanted to. But now Zoltan's going to get around Harry Grindle as he'll actually go high to let him go. And now Aaron's clear of all these guys with just 5 laps to go. So it's now or never for that 96, and with Hunter not around any of them yet, I think 12 might be out of this thing.
Yep, 5 laps to go as, man, I'm surprised those lap cars moved themselves out of the way fairly nicely. Can Zoltan close the deal here up front, or will Mulrooney run away with it? 4 laps to go this time by. The gap is now a car length between those 2.
Yeah, the lapped cars ended up giving Zoltan a big break, but he looks like he goes a bit wide through 1 and 2. Which has been his trouble spot throughout this race since Mulrooney pit for those fresh tires. But yeah, he's really sending it in through 3 and 4, and his car is able to stick much better than Aaron's is. But yeah, just 3 laps to go. So at this point, it's either going to be Aaron wins or Zoltan is probably just going to have to basically plow through him. And I don't think he would do that because that'd be pretty dirty.
2 laps to go this time by for Mulrooney as they work themselves off the corner. Oh! Zoltan hit the wall.
And that might do it here as Zoltan goes into the wall across the finish line. So Aaron will be able to pull away here as he comes around turn 4 to take the white flag here at Stafford. 1 more lap to go for Aaron Mulrooney to try and get his first modified win of the season.
He spun in 3 and 4 a couple cautions ago, but man, that number 2, a great recovery to put himself up front, take on tires, and pull away from the number 96. Checkered flag for tonight's race. Mulroney will win it here at Stafford.
As Zoltan goes spinning across the finish line there, I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but either way, Zoltan absolutely dominated that first 2/3 of the race, and Aaron played his cards just right and was able to recover from that spin and take home the win. So really, really nice job by that 2 car to get himself the win here tonight.
Yeah.
And Hunter Johnson will round out your top 3. Really solid night for him after winning last night. So Hunter's off to a really good start this season, as Aaron will burn it down here at Stafford.
What a great, great victory for that number 2. And honestly, one of the very few times I've seen that 2 under pressure. But of course, that number 2, Mulroney, just outperforming that number 96 with fresher tires. Of course, he had a lot of advantages with fresher tires as well. He wins here at Stafford tonight, and we'll take a go ahead and pull up results here right in front of your screen. Mulroney, Zoltan, Johnson, Brady, Sheen, White Jr., Berge, Hess, Grindle, and Tolsma round out the top 10.
Yeah, nice job by Kevin White, 6th place in his iSCAR debut, so hat off to him. Scott Yost will be in 11th place, last car lap down. Frank DeAngelis ended up 8 laps down in 12th. Justin Johnson got involved in an earlier incident. He'll be 13th. Dominic Cow disconnected early on in 14th. Michael Bianchini disconnected early as well in 15th. And Matthew Klein only completed 3 laps tonight, and he will round out your field. So we'll scoot ourselves off to the side, and we'll be back with some zesty post-race interviews.
North Carolina, where the field is rolling out for the start of today's 400-lap race on this .625-mile racetrack. Here's the starting lineup. On the pole from Dawsonville, Georgia, in the number 9 Coors Ford qualifying and Winston Cup race from North Wilkesboro is underway. Everybody nicely through turns number 1 and 2 as Bill Elliott has the lead and Dale Earnhardt has jumped into 2nd position, followed by Benny Parsons and Bobby Allison. His second win of 1987.
We welcome you here back live for post-race interviews after the iSCAR Tolsma Designs Modified Tour did 95 laps around this half-mile circuit of Stafford Motor Speedway, rounding out the first round here tonight. And man, what a finish. That was very, very interesting as Mulroney and Zoltan caught those lap cars, but the man who topped it all was that number 2 of Aaron Mulroney. He picks up his first ever iSCAR Modified win here tonight. Mulroney, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy, Zeke.
Man, you know, what a great job working yourself around that number 96 and fending him off there for those last 20 laps and such. Mulrooney, how'd you do it, man?
Yeah, our number 2 Sim Performance Group Esports Evo Sim Sport Modified was actually pretty good throughout, I would say, most of the race. We were probably definitely a top 3 car. And eventually, I think there was a restart, and the person behind me had hit me, and I actually had gone around. And then I was in the back, and there was like only one car behind me, so I just figured it'd be a good idea to maybe go in and take tires. And I just worked my way through the field, got another caution, I believe, and it put me second place on the outside, and I just kept working on the driver in front, was able to get around him, and just, yeah, kept a cool head and went into victory lane.
That's right, man. You spun in 3 and 4, luckily rebounded yourself to get up ahead of that number 96. You pick up your first ever iSCAR modified win. I'm pretty sure you don't run these cars often, but of course with the new fixed super late model series modified tour, did that just play to your advantage and you handling out the race car here tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I've driven these cars before. I actually drove them in the playoffs for the NASCAR Ignite series.
Oh, he just. Oh.
Oh yeah, we just lost.
I think we might have left by accident.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. We just lost Mulrooney, but well, there he is. We'll get
Hey,
back.
there he
Hey, technical difficulties. It's okay. We're all right. I believe you're talking about how do these series play into my advantage? Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. Well, the thing is, I actually was in the NASCAR Ignite series last summer, and in the playoffs format or playoffs, playoff part, we were actually driving those modified. So I've kind of figured out in that series of how to drive them and how they would handle and how they react later in runs, early. So I just kind of knew how the car would react, and frankly, it played right into my hand. I mean, I knew what to do, so yeah, got a win out of it.
All right, 10-4, buddy. Congratulations on your first ever iSCAR Modified Tour win here tonight at Stafford. But before we let you go, any sponsors want to take care for tonight?
Yeah, Zeke, I'd like to thank you for broadcasting and Dewey for also broadcasting. And I'd also like to thank Sim Performance Group Esports and Evo Sim Sport for sponsoring.
All right, 10-4. Mulrooney rounds himself up top here tonight after 95 laps at Stafford. We'll go ahead and see you come to your next race, bud.
Thanks. Have a good one.
You too. Screwed ourselves with third place because Zoltan Herzeg is not in the MaxspeedTV Discord. Dewey will take this one away.
All right, Hunter, got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Well, between last night, led every lap last night, won the pole and won the race, and you got yourself a podium tonight. So you've had a pretty damn good start here to your Summer Series Part 2 season. You were up in the top 3 to 5 all day, but just couldn't quite get up to the lead. How was your car overall compared to Aaron and Zoltan?
It felt a lot better earlier, like before we had the first yellow. I felt like I was I kind of had a behind start, but then I started to slowly reel Zoltan in. I think, I mean, at some point I kind of stalled out, but we were pretty far away from the rest of the field. So if that could have continued, I feel like I could have came away with second. But then, like after we started getting cautions, I thought it might be beneficial to try and come down and take 2 right side tires. And I mean, it kind of was for first couple laps of the run, but then it just kind of evened out, and I wasn't able to make any ground up on Aaron and Zoltan. So it's whatever. It was a good run. I did same as yesterday. I didn't understand the track or the car in practice, but then I was able to kind of I was able to pull it off in qualifying and race. So it was good overall. Not as good as it could have been, but it's whatever.
Well, I think third is pretty good regardless. Hey, man, before I let you go, any sponsors you want to thank here for tonight's effort?
I just got to thank Proximity Racing.
All right, short and sweet. Hunter Johnson, third place here tonight. Hope to see you back the rest of this weekend and for the rest of the Summer Series, man.
All right, thank you.
And unfortunately, Zoltan does not join the Discord, so unfortunately we don't get an interview with him, but a really, really good run for him. Dominated the first half of tonight's race before Aaron got by him, so hopefully he will return for future modified races because he's a really fun guy to watch. So that'll do it here for us at Stafford. I mean, any final thoughts on tonight?
That was a great, a phenomenal race here for tonight. Of course, the interesting part about it, it's been a while since I've seen a situation in which leaders were encountering lap cars on a short track. The two, Mulrooney and the 96 of Zoltan, did a great job of working themselves around Harry Grindle, Garrett Hess, George Tolsma, and I think it was Scott Yost or Frank DeAngelis, one of those black cars who they had to work themselves around. But Mulrooney and Zoltan flew by those lap cars faster than I thought. I thought Mulrooney would have hiccuped through as he was trying to work themselves around those two or 4 lap cars, but luckily for him, not only for himself, Zoltan, he too worked himself around the lap cars very quickly and also closed the gap between himself and Mulrooney, and it nearly made the battle there for the end, but fortunately it just wasn't enough for that number 96.
I was honestly a bit surprised we didn't see more cautions because iSCAR and short tracks, when you put those two things together, usually lead to a ton of cautions. So the lap traffic that those guys encountered tonight, definitely something a lot of guys in this league probably aren't used to here. But yeah, that'll be all she wrote here for us up in Connecticut. Thank you very much for tuning in. And if you want to come back for more iSCAR action, tomorrow night is the debut race of the iSCAR Trey Shuttlesworth Photography IndyCar Series, and they will be at Pocono. Benjamin will join Ezekiel in the booth for that one. As for me, I'll be back Sunday night for the debut of the Vintage Series. I'm really pumped for that one. Thank you once again for tuning in, and we will see you tomorrow night.
Bye.
Bye.